Hey guys, it's Leo, and it's time to talk about episode 13 of Star Twinkle Precure. This was a Lala episode. Our girl Kira Miyuki was the center, and it was her first time going to school. Following the things that happened in the last episode, Lala was accepted on Earth, and now she can stay here as an alien without people knowing about her, obviously, but she can stay here and she can do whatever she wants. And the first thing she chose was to go to school. A very peculiar choice, but an understandable one in a show like Precure. So we had Lala going to her first day at school, and the first thing that was like the most interesting thing about this episode was the culture shock, because Lala comes from a different planet. She comes from a place that doesn't have school, and people in her planet, they don't go to school there. And the first choice Lala made was very interesting. She left her glove behind. Her glove is where the AI is stored. So she didn't have the AI to consult anytime she needed. So it was just Lala there without any support. And she doesn't really know what a person does at the school, and she doesn't know the culture, and she doesn't know how to really act. And we were able to see that in lots of moments, like when she was presenting herself, she didn't say anything. When she was choosing herself, her where to sit. And that's a very interesting thing, because in Brazil there are some schools in which the teacher tells you where to sit, but most times you just sit anywhere you want. And well, it's an interesting cultural difference. And in Lala's case, she didn't really know that the teacher chose her seat. She wanted to sit alongside Hikaru, but she didn't really know. It was like something that it's something that doesn't exist in her culture. And so she was thinking about it in her own way, and she was just saying loon to everything like she does. And it was funny because people were understanding that her name was Lala Loon, and it was golden. It was really golden. And in this episode, we also had a new character being introduced, Karunori. I forgot his name, but that character was a very interesting one. I felt like he was really nice. He brought the spirits up in this episode, and I liked his personality a lot. He was a very fun character to watch. He was a very fun character to see, and his interactions with Lala were like, he pushed her buttons a little bit, but at the same time, I think that he pushed the right ones. And he was funny. He was interesting. I like when we have those characters that are totally out of the box, and he is kind of like that. He has his own pace, he follows everything on his own pace, and that is amazing. So we keep on watching Lala's interactions with school life and how she is totally out of place. So, well, that scene in which she discovered that people on Earth are able to do math with 2 units, like more than 1 unit. It was very interesting, because when I saw that scene, I didn't really understand why she was being shocked at something like that. I didn't understand where her shock came from, and I was like, what's going on? And then she explained to Hikaru, and then I was able to understand things a little better. And I felt like by not really knowing what to do, she was feeling really bad. But not really by not knowing what to do, but more because she's friends with Hikaru, Elena, and Madoka. Elena and Madoka are big personalities at school. Everybody loved them. But Lala herself, she was feeling that she was like kind of like dragging their reputation down, and she was feeling sad because of that. So on the other day, she went on school with her AI, and she totally changed her personality. She wanted to merge. She wanted to be a normal human, and then nothing happened. And basically, it felt like she didn't have a special thing of her own at school. And I felt that it was a very interesting message at the end of the day. So after that day, that nothing happened and everything went right for her at school, Hikaru told the girls, and then they all got her in a holiday and went on school with her alone. Honestly, I didn't really understand the point of that meeting at school at that moment. I didn't really understand why the girls took her there. And okay, it was a kind of heartfelt moment, and Lala understood that she had her own personality, and she has to embrace that. She cannot completely merge, because if she does, she won't have fun. She won't have great moments at school. That's a very interesting message. That's a very nice message, I think. I think that Precure was bold enough to give a message like that, especially when you have a personality like Lala's, because Lala is a very distinctive person. You know, she's not unlike anyone else. She is totally herself, and she's not eccentric like Hikaru, but she has her own way of doing things, of rationalizing things, and especially her way of speaking. That's amazing, and you shouldn't lose that. But then when the girls were there, my boy appeared, Capard. Oh my god, Capard. I was so surprised with Capard in this episode because I didn't know that he received a power up like that. I mean, well, we know that the villains received power ups, but I thought the power ups they only lasted that episode, and then I didn't know that they have that power up now, and honestly, that was really interesting. But then again, I feel like this fight was way more interesting than the past one. Every time Kapard or Tenjo appears, they both bring out something different from the girls, and that was nice. I mean, the fight in this episode wasn't the biggest fight in the world, but it was a nice one. You know, Soleil kicking, Celine using her arrow, nice. And then Kapar transforming his weapon into a space skate. Oh my god, that was so badass. And I loved the soundtrack on that moment, that rock song. It was gorgeous. I loved it. And then, Capard was rocking it. He was just rocking it and, just going around. And it's interesting because now we need a victim for Capard to be able to do that with his weapon. Probably going to happen the same way with Tenjo. Tenjo will have her power up with her fan, and then she will need a victim as well. And then, the way the girls decided to stop him, I felt like it was kind of easy. We didn't really need techniques, and we didn't really need a special strategy for that. And I feel like we only need special strategies for Tenjo when she attacks. The other ones are just, let's rush down and use our powers. And the powers without pens, they don't work anymore, as we were able to see. But with the pens themselves, they are strong enough to withstand an enemy like Capard. And then the girls were able to use the Twinkle Stick to finish it. It was a nice way to finish this fight, and Capard was left hanging. But that animation, when Capard is transforming his weapon into that skate, Capard is so amazing. Come on, Capard is out of this world. I am in love. You guys know I'm in love with him, and then every time he does something new, I get more in love with Capard. It's impossible not to love him. So yeah, I think that the villains in this season are really interesting as well. I'm glad because after Hugto, we had like the greatest villain team ever, and now with this season, like it's keeping up. It's very good, even though I don't like I1 that much. And so after the fight and after the meeting with the girls, Lala was able to talk to Karunori. Karunori, I don't know if that's his name, but she was able to understand that she needs to be herself and she needs to have her own way and keep her own mannerisms. And that ended up getting her very far at school with, like, popularity wise. People like her, people enjoy her different way of speaking, and they're even calling her Loon-san or Loon-chan. And then it was something I really enjoyed. At the end of the day, I felt like the message was very good. Like, embrace who you are and don't be afraid if people laugh at you. Sometimes they're not laughing at you, but they're laughing with you. That's what happened with the boy. And the boy, when that boy called her weird, he wasn't meaning it in a strange way at all. He was meaning it in a good way, because being weird for him is good. You know, he is weird himself, and then seeing other people that are weird, for him, it's a good thing. And I felt like, you know, at the end of the day, the message of this episode was nice, and this new character we got to see is also very interesting. I hope we see him more. I like him a lot. And, you know, it was a fun episode, and now, for the next few episodes, we're entering in May, and May is going to be a packed month for Precure. Next week, we have an Elena episode. Actually, it's not really an Elena episode. It's like Elena's family episode. Like, it's interesting because we saw the preview of this episode did barely show Elena. Like, I want an Elena, real Elena episode. Even though I'm very curious to meet her family, her mother, her father, the siblings we already know, and it seems that the focus is going to be in one of them, the oldest one, like after her. So he's going to be the focus of this episode, and I'm curious to see what this episode has in store for us. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. Please leave a comment with your opinions on episode 13. Let's keep our talk in the comment box below. Let's talk about our dear girl, Hagoro Malala. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, bye-bye!